What if the headlines of today are the seeds of tomorrow's greatest conflict? This story is a speculative, imaginative vision of how World War III could unfold, not through a singular, catastrophic event, but as a slow brewing storm of ideological divides, economic warfare, and unchecked technological escalation. Inspired by real-world geopolitical shifts, this narrative presents a chilling yet plausible sequence of events where trade policies, artificial intelligence, and competing national interests spiral into a global conflagration. By the mid-2020s, global tensions escalate as two ideological camps crystallize. On one side stand the free trade universalists, led by the European Union, Canada, and Japan, who advocate for open markets, unrestricted global supply chains, and economic integration as a pathway to shared prosperity. Opposing them are the Homeland Security Nationalists, a coalition led by Nation T, Nation X, and Russia, who emphasize national security, self-sufficiency, and protectionism over interdependence. Smaller nations align based on their economic vulnerabilities or strategic calculations, dividing the world into rival blocs. The global order begins to fracture. The spark comes in 2025 when Nation T imposes sweeping tariffs on Nation X's tech exports, citing national security concerns tied to AI and quantum computing. In response, Nation X bans the export of rare earth minerals, paralyzing electronics and battery production across the globe. The EU tries to mediate by pushing a global trade accord aimed at restoring tariff-free flows, but the nationalists reject it, calling it a covert power grab. The economic standoff soon bleeds into security conflicts, with proxy skirmishes erupting in Africa and Southeast Asia over control of key resources. Cyber attacks increase in frequency and sophistication, targeting critical infrastructure from ports to banking systems, while naval standoffs become common in contested waters. Then in March 2031, a devastating cyber attack, allegedly launched by a Russian Nation X coalition, cripples EU financial markets, freezing trillions in assets and triggering mass panic. The Universalists accuse the nationalists of economic terrorism. The EU, backed by Canada and Japan, retaliates with sweeping sanctions and enforces a naval blockade in the Baltic Sea, targeting Russia's vital energy exports. Nation P, a rising authoritarian power, declares war in defense of sovereign survival, accusing the EU of globalist overreach. Nation T, already at odds with the Universalists, joins the nationalist bloc, justifying its entry as a move to secure borders and industrial autonomy. The conflict rapidly intensifies. In 2032, Nation X invades Taiwan, aiming to dominate global semiconductor production and control the digital economy's core. Nation T, while aligned with the nationalists, unexpectedly defends Taiwan, fearing Nation X's growing dominance will undermine its own regional influence. This move fractures nationalist cohesion and opens a volatile new front in the Pacific. Japan and South Korea, firmly in the Universalist camp, deploy their naval forces to the South China Sea to contain the escalation. In Africa, nationalist-backed mercenaries invade resource-rich countries like Nigeria and South Africa, targeting cobalt and lithium mines essential for the global tech and energy industries. The EU and Canada respond by funding local resistance groups, framing the effort as a stand for economic freedom. In the Middle East, Saudi Arabia's nationalist alignment leads to a catastrophic war with a Universalist-backed Israel, as both sides vie for control over oil routes, pipelines, and Red Sea access. Battlefields evolve beyond recognition. AI-driven drones, some the size of insects for urban surveillance, others resembling small fighter jets, become the primary weapons of the sky, executing coordinated swarm attacks on supply convoys, communication hubs, and even civilian infrastructure. Cyber-armored vehicles, powered by onboard quantum processors, adapt to real-time threats, shifting tactics autonomously and jamming enemy signals across vast distances. These intelligent tanks and APCs, armored personnel carriers, become virtually untouchable by traditional weapons, forcing both sides to develop new electromagnetic and pulse-based arms. On the ground, robotic infantry units, ranging from humanoid exoskeletons carrying heavy weaponry to autonomous four-legged battlefield scouts, replace large portions of human forces in direct combat. These machines are faster, tireless, and immune to fear or propaganda. Entire platoons of human soldiers become support units, operating from command centers miles away, coordinating AI-driven offensives that play out faster than human reflexes can manage. The combination of speed, automation, and ruthless efficiency leads to unprecedented destruction and a depersonalization of war that horrifies the global public. By 2034, the chaos is worldwide. Neutral powers like Mexico and Indonesia, long striving to stay out of the conflict, are forced to pick sides as cyber attacks destabilize their economies and refugee flows reach crisis levels. Global trade collapses, supply chains vanish, black markets and barter economies emerge, nationalist powers begin to suffer from resource shortages and economic stagnation, while the universalists struggle to keep open economies functioning amid systemic instability and security threats. Both blocs are exhausted by 2035. Then in a surprising turn, India, technologically advanced but internally fractured, emerges as a mediator. Facing domestic unrest driven by food shortages and economic panic, India negotiates a ceasefire. The resulting Delhi Accord of 2037 proposes a hybrid model for the post-war world. Limited trade zones regulated by regional security protocols, combining the efficiency of global markets with the caution of sovereign control. The war leaves the planet scarred. Millions perish. The EU, once a pillar of stability, fractures politically as Germany and France diverge on how to rebuild. Nation T and Nation X emerge as competing superpowers, each leading blocs of semi-isolationist states wary of entanglement. Smaller nations form neutral trade leagues focused on balancing economic opportunity with political non-alignment. AI, biotech, and quantum systems are placed under stringent international regulation, widely viewed as too dangerous to be left unchecked. World War III becomes a cautionary tale of progress without foresight, of alliances fractured by fear, and of how the very technologies designed to connect humanity became the tools that nearly tore it apart.
Whispers in the wires, silence in the sky, borders drawn by